television champion, T-Man! Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to World Championship Wrestling here on TBS. I'm Jim Ross, and along with Bob Cottle, we'll describe the next 2 hours of action, ladies and gentlemen. Bob, we've got two feature matchups today, both surrounding the television championship.
Jim, you're 100% right. And fans, we're going to look first at Z-Man, the new champion, who won it last week right here on TBS, as he defends that title for the first time. Two men that it revolves around. Arnderson, the former champion, the man that wants to be the champion. This is a very important match for him, Terry Taylor.
Fans will have that match and many more great ones, but right now, let's go to the ring.
At 319 pounds, the number 4 horseman, Big Sid Bishop! And in the ring, his opponent from San Bernardino, California, Pablo Crenshaw!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Big Sid Vicious, a man that wants a crack at Lex Luger and the gold.
See, let's see if you get that U.S. tower again. On top of the mountain, there's only room for one man. And that man is Sid Vicious, because Sid Vicious rules the world.
Sid Vicious rules, as the sign says, and that certainly echoes the sentiments of that big monster. Vicious, the biggest member of the Four Horsemen, and Pablo Crenshaw already at a distinct disadvantage here. Vicious sends him for the ride, but Crenshaw quickly moves out of the way. I think, Bob, that may just frustrate Sid.
I think you're right, Jim. When you talk about big, this guy is huge, tremendous, so powerful. And when you talk about Pablo Crenshaw already being at a disadvantage, he's certainly at a size disadvantage, a power as well as a strength disadvantage. Look at this.
Crenshaw up on the shoulders of the 6'9", 320-pounder.
Watch out.
That human frisbee move by Sid Vicious, and Crenshaw in a deep degree of trouble. This is the man that has signed to take on Lex Luger, and that should be a tremendous one-on-one encounter when they meet, Bob.
Oh, Jim, you're 100% right. You know, this is our first program of 1991. It seems impossible that 91 is already here, and a number of our World Championship Wrestling athletes had fantastic years in 90. Sid Vicious was one of them, Jim, but a lot of them are really dedicated. It's like a new beginning to them, and this man, among many of the others, says that 91 is really going to be their year.
Tremendous clothesline by Sid Vicious on Pablo Crenshaw. Very interesting matchup still to come in our first hour. Flying Brian takes on Rip Rogers in a match where falls will not count in the first 5 minutes of the match.
That's an unusual type match, too, Jim, when you say falls don't count.
Paulie Dangerously, Bob, is going to be talking to Rip Rogers a little bit later to explain that situation. Rogers has wrestled Flying Brian before on this very broadcast, back on December the 8th, as a matter of fact, the exact date when they wrestled. Pillman with a very hard-fought victory in that, but special stipulations we'll hear about. Vicious, high into the air, drops well over 300 pounds on Pablo Crenshaw. And Vicious,
he said no.
He could have pinned him right there, quite obviously.
Jim, you just don't expect a man this big and this muscular and strong and powerful as Vicious to get as high up into the air and have the impact moves that he has.
He's the guy that ruined Christmas for good old Norman. And there's that power bomb. Vicious with a power bomb.
Here is your winner, Big Sid Bishop!
Right before Christmas, Big Sid Vicious ran Norman's head into the ring post, tore up the toys. We'll talk more about that in the hour, but look at these moves.
Well, he's going to make a helicopter out of Crenshaw right here as he spins and twirls and flies right through the air. Does Pablo Crenshaw just like a helicopter, hard on the back on the mat. Then the move that really puts him away and puts him away for good is the power bomb, and it's a vicious one from Big Sid.
Remember, still to come, Flying Brian and Rip Rogers in a match where falls will not count the first 5 minutes. Here's Paul E. Dangerously and Rip Rogers to tell us more about it.
Paul E. Dangerously, standing with the healthiest man in World Championship Wrestling. I'm talking about a guy that peels the skin off of a chicken. I'm talking about a guy that drinks mineral water, can you believe this, without the lime. How do you do that? I'm standing here with Rip Rogers. And you know, Rip, later on today's program, you have challenged Flying Brian Pillman to a match in which pinfalls for the first 5 minutes don't count. Now, I don't understand this, Rip. Why would you do such a thing?
Because I'm Rip Rogers, the marathon man. That's why. Everybody knows Brian Pillman is a great wrestler, and he might beat me at a short distance in a sprint, but I'm the marathon man. I'm the man that goes all day. I'm the man that goes all night. Really? I go as long as it takes to get the job done. So what I'm saying, when Rip Rogers, the marathon man, comes after you, Brian Pillman, the marathon man's after you, and you better be in shape. So I suggest you tear the skin off the chicken, watch your carbohydrates, watch your fat, because I'm going to be in shape, and I'm going to beat you and show you who's the man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. Fans, falls do not count in the first 5 minutes of this match. Introducing first from Cincinnati, Ohio, at 227 pounds, Flying Brian. Hitting the ring, his opponent from Seymour, Indiana, at 222.5 pounds, Rip Rogers.
The self-proclaimed marathon man, Rip Rogers, take on Flying Brian. And Flying Brian had some comments to make about this contest.
Rogers, you seem a little preoccupied with limits. Well, you should know by now, those that compete in World Championship Wrestling don't know any limits. And on today's show, there's not going to be any limit to the amount of abuse I dish out to you, my friend.
Flying Brian, I think, making his intentions perfectly clear there, Bob. Athletic ability really has no time boundaries.
You're right, and I tell you, here's a guy, when we talk about 91, that says it's really going to be his year, that he's really going to get it all together, an outstanding athlete. Jim, as you mentioned, this is a most unusual match where falls do not count in the first 5 minutes. Normally, a wrestler
He's going for a pin right here. That's just instinct.
Yeah. Normally, a wrestler wants to pin his opponent just as quickly as he can in the ring. And as you say, it's just instinct to do that.
Rip Rogers says that he is the most perfectly conditioned athlete in all of sports. His body fat content is lower, but I think Pillman could have something to say about that, because there's no...
1 minute has elapsed in this match. 1 minute.
Remember, 1 minute's elapsed. Falls do not count the first 5.
With no body fat, wonder if he's got any cholesterol.
I bet it's very low, Bob. He's a health fanatic. Nice drop kick by Flying Brian. Pillman, again, instinctively going for the pin. If he would have pinned him there, it would not have counted. Remember, falls do not count in the first 5 minutes of the match.
Yeah, that's right.
Rogers says it is to his advantage with his training for a match to last longer. Now, I don't know how sound that rationale is.
No, I don't
know how sound mentally Rip Rogers is either.
Well, I think you're right, but I think he figures that with the condition that he's
Pillman
in...
going for another pin here.
Yeah, again, it would not have counted. But with his physical condition, I think he really says that he's going to outlast the opponent if it goes longer than that.
Well, he says it's hard to get a quarter horse to run a long-distance race. He's a thoroughbred. He's used to going long distances.
2 minutes have elapsed in the match. 2 minutes.
Well, see, we still got 3 minutes to go, Jim, before a fall would count. Talking about the guys that are really looking forward to this year, and it's great to have a new year here upon us. Flying Brian is one of them, Jim, because in the Clash of Champions on Wednesday, January 30th, 8:05 p.m. right here on TBS, you know who he's going to meet, don't you?
I heard all about it.
Yes, sirree.
Nature Boy Ric Flair in a special challenge match. The teacher and the pupil, because Flying Brian was a former protege of Nature Boy Ric Flair. School will be in session live here on TBS Wednesday night, January the 30th at the Clash of Champions. Nice Irish whip there by Flying Brian. Met with a foot right to the face. And from the left side, Rip Rogers with a clothesline. Now, there is no doubt that Rip Rogers isn't in magnificent physical condition. He is. He says he is a man that gets stronger as the match goes along, and he needs to have every advantage as he can. As you heard Tony Gilliam's call, 3 minutes have elapsed in the match. Rogers up on top. Double axe handle right across. Flying Brian chest first, knocking over the security railing.
Jim, that's a big steel railing around, too. It's not a lightweight railing. It's a heavy one.
Big high-risk move by Rogers coming off the top rope. Big chop there.
Maybe there's something to this time factor that Rogers has been talking about. He's certainly been coming on strong in the last couple of minutes.
Rogers tossing Pillman back into the ring. He follows him in. Now Rip Rogers has the advantage on Flying Bryant. There's a headbutt to the side of Pillman's head. Pillman, the former Cincinnati Bengal, fights back.
4 minutes have elapsed in the match. 4 minutes.
Pillman, he's going to try to bring him out, but Rip Rogers, a veteran from Seymour, Indiana, now he's going for, it's not going to count.
No. It was a good counter by Rogers, but Jim, that pin would not have counted had he been able to hold him down. Fans tonight, World Championship Wrestling, 8 p.m., Augusta, Georgia at the Civic Center. And then tomorrow night, we're going to be in Greenville, South Carolina, Memorial Auditorium, a great night of wrestling there. Tomorrow night at 7:30 and Monday night at 7 p.m. Our first World Championship Wrestling event in Perry, Georgia at the Henry L. Reeves Arena.
Pillman missing that elbow as Rogers quickly moved out of the way. We're coming up on that magic 5-minute mark. Pillman has him off balance, but can't hold him down. Again, this match falls do not count the first 5 minutes.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 minutes have elapsed in this match. 5 minutes.
And now falls will count in this 5-minute match. A fall now will be accepted by the official and will be deemed as official. And Rip Rogers has the advantage on Flying Brian at the 5-minute mark. Pillman with a kick to the solar plexus. Over the top, but he skins the cat and comes right back in the ring. Rogers dropped out of sight, and so did Pillman, except Rogers fell on the canvas. Pillman fell on the floor.
Rogers has been showing us some good athletic ability, Jim, and a couple of good counters, and that was one of them. Where's Brian going now?
Pillman up in the catapult up there for the catwalk. He's high above the ground. Where Pillman from up in the bleachers. Pillman came off the cheap seats with a clothesline.
He can't pin him out there outside the ring, though.
Thunderous chops. He learned from his mentor, Ric Flair, and a good reversal by Rip Rogers. The lower spine to Flying Brian right into the edge of the ring. He's got him in an airplane spin out here on the outside. I think Rogers is a dizzy one.
Hey, he is. He's the one that's staggering around and reeling from it.
Both men a little dizzy there. Rogers that way normally. Misses the elbow. Savant kick. A reverse thrust kick by Flying Brian. Much to the delight of the fans here at center stage.
A lot of the action now having taken place outside the ring in this one.
Pillman with a headbutt. Scoops him up. There's a slam there by Flying Brian. And now Eric Pillman goes to the top rope. He's very comfortable there. And Rogers pulled the knee up. Rip Rogers had that move well scouted. He pulled the knee up. He drove it into the stomach of Flying Brian, and now Rip Rogers may have the advantage again. He's having trouble standing. He's still a little dizzy from his own airplane spin.
And also from that slam, but it was another tremendous counter by Rogers on Brian because Brian was ready to put him away for the 1-2-3.
Pillman quickly back up to the top. Sunset flip up and over. He's got the legs down, and he pinned him.
The winner of the match is Flying Brian.
Flying Brian with a victory here. Fans, in just a moment, we're going to show you all about. Well, here's this move out of the cheap seats. The clothesline.
Jim, that was a beautiful, fantastic high-risk maneuver on the part of Flying Brian from out of the bleachers high up into the stands. Now, what's this move?
He faked him up.
The sunset flip, that's right, off of the top rope when he faked him out completely to put him down for the count of 3 with Brian the winner.
Fans, you're going to be able to enter our WCW Sexy Wrestler contest. Here's all about that upcoming promotion. Attention wrestling fans, here's your opportunity to participate in selecting WCW's Sexiest Wrestler. On a postcard only, clearly print the name of your choice and mail it today to Post Office Box 105-366, Atlanta, Georgia, 30348-5366. The winner of WCW's Sexiest Wrestler Contest will be announced on TBS Wednesday night, January the 30th, during the upcoming Clash of Champions broadcast.
All over America, fans, World Championship Wrestling, the best, is coming to an arena near you. Wednesday, January 23rd, Civic Auditorium, San Francisco, 7:30. Ric Flair, Sting, and Sid Vicious. Tuesday the 22nd, the Forum in Los Angeles, 7:30. The Steiners, Michael Wallstreet, Lex Luger. Sunday the 20th, UIC Pavilion, Chicago, 7:30. Doom, Barry Windham and Arn Anderson. Friday the 18th, Kansas City, Memorial Hall at 8. The Freebirds, the Steiners, and Big Cat. Thursday the 17th, Memorial Coliseum, Jacksonville, 7:30, Doom, Ric Flair and Z-Man. Wednesday the 16th, Little Rock, Barton Coliseum, 7:30, Lex Luger, the Junkyard Dog, and Ricky Morton. Sunday the 13th, Charleston, Civic Center Coliseum, 3 o'clock, Sting, Ric Flair, and Michael Wallstreet. On Saturday the 12th, Washington, D.C. Armory, 8 o'clock. It'll be the Steiners, Doom, and Big Cat. And on Friday the 11th, at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, 8 o'clock, Sting, Ric Flair, Lex Luger, all over America, World Championship Wrestling.
Welcome back, everyone, to World Championship Wrestling. Let's go back to last week's broadcast. The tremendous matchup involving Z-Man and Arn Anderson for the television championship. Here's how Z-Man won the title. Reverse chin lock. Almost a modified camel clutch. Here the crowd getting solid behind the challenger. Anderson, he was distracted by the fans chanting, and that will certainly change your attitude, and it perhaps will change the complexion of this match. Anderson in a lot of trouble, barely hanging on the ropes. The Z-Man went for him, but he wasn't there.
Tremendous mistake on the part of Arn Anderson.
Karate kick by the Z-Man. Anderson may be out. His foot on the bottom rope stops the count.
Very uncharacteristic of Arn Anderson to make a mistake of that caliber.
Z-Man coming right down on the leg of Arn Anderson. And this is the legitimate item. His leg is now injured, thanks to Z-Man. Anderson is now really working the clock, Bob.
And the clock is becoming more and more of a factor. Out of the ring, uses up valuable seconds.
Inside 4 minutes was Z-Man. Anderson and the time limit as his enemy. And Anderson counters with a sleeper of his own. The TV champion now just wanting to hold on and take it to the time limit. He cradles him up. One, only got one. Now Anderson sets himself. He's on the second turnbuckle, getting some momentum. Off he came, but he was met with the right hand. Anderson down from the right hand. The Z-Man trying to fight his way up. He's going to go for it all right here. A high-risk move by the Z-Man. Can he hit it? A drop kick. He nailed him. He nailed him. 1, 2, 3.
We got a new champion.
The winner and the new television champion, Z-Man.
The crowd standing as they're jam-packed in the center stage. The Z-Man has realized a dream. He's the new world television champion.
Dr. X, you've got the first shot today on World Championship Wrestling at the TV title. Believe me, I'm finely tuned. I'm on the razor's edge. You're going to have to be in the best shape of your life to beat me. You know, the fans are behind me, and I've been on a roll, baby. Arn Anderson, it was great to take this away from you. And the Horsemen, you have no belts. I'm loving it. Arn Anderson, you want a rematch? Sign on the dotted line. I'm not going to hide behind it, just like you did. I'll take on anyone, anytime. Dr. X, you better be ready for Z-Man! Look out!
And the Z-Man will defend the television championship for the first time later tonight here on World Championship Wrestling. And now, fans, here's how you can order the official publication of World Championship Wrestling, the Wrestling Wrap-Up.
Talking. is done.
The time to act is now. Bring the action of World Championship Wrestling right to your door by subscribing to the Wrestling Wrap-Up. Act now and get a year's subscription to wrestling's most informative news monthly for just $24.95. That's more than 50% off the cover price. The Wrestling Wrap-Up is not available in stores, so subscribe now by calling 404-827-4048 to charge by Visa or MasterCard, or send your check or money order to the Wrestling Wrap-Up.
The dark side at 240 pounds, Beautiful Bobby.
Beautiful Bobby Eaton, one of the leading contenders for the television championship. He'll take on Z-Man, the Clash of Champions, on Wednesday night, January the 30th, for that title. Let's go back to Tony Gillum.
And in the ring, his opponent from Las Vegas, Nevada, at 219 pounds, Reno Riggins.
There's a look at Reno Riggins, an outstanding young prospect here in World Championship Wrestling. And Beautiful Bobby had this to say about the Z-Man.
Okay, Z-Man, I guess now you've got the big hit since you just won that World TV title. But I know you haven't forgot what happened to you in Star King, because I beat you, and I beat you out in the middle of the ring. So the Clash of Champions, I guarantee you this. You walk through the ring, walk with your head this big, because when you leave the ring, you're not going to have the World TV title.
And I think after Beautiful Bobby's performance at Starrcade, Bob, he proved to the world very conclusively that whether it be in tag team situation or in a one-on-one situation, he is a legitimate superstar. And I'm really looking forward to his matchup with the Z-Man at the Clash here on TBS for that television title.
Well, Jim, as you say, what a superstar he is, an experienced athlete. Nobody has any more athletic ability than Beautiful Bobby. Look at that move right there by Riggins.
Nice move by Reno Riggins, handstanding it right into the corner. Now driving the shoulder into Beautiful Bobby's midsection. Eaton puts on the brakes there.
Well, Riggins is a youngster. He's got a lot of fire. He wants to come out, and what a win this would be for him. But really, the experience of Bobby Eaton, that's really going to work to his disadvantage.
Nice roll up there by Reno Riggins. He got a near fall out of the situation.
Well, he's going to get Eaton's attention, isn't he?
Paulie Daners is going to be talking to Terry Taylor. Just a little bit later in the broadcast, Terry Taylor in our second hour to take on Arnderson. Those men certainly no strangers. If you fans have been following their matches on the main event that airs, of course, here on TBS on Sunday nights at 6:05. A lot riding on that situation because Terry Taylor feels that he should be given a rematch or a match now with Z-Man for the TV title.
Well, I know Terry feels that way about it, Jim, and I'm not sure he's not 100% right because he is such another great athlete and an outstanding competitor. But what a match it's going to be. Beautiful Bobby against a Z-Man. When you talk about two athletes that have it all, they've got speed, they've got quickness, they got agility, they got the savvy to go along with it. That's going to be a fantastic match at the Clash of Champions.
Riggins reverses Beautiful Bobby. Nice leapfrog there by the youngster from Las Vegas, Nevada. The drop kick. He caught him right in the kisser on that one. Good move there by Reno Riggins, but Eaton reverses it. Catches him. Good agility again by Reno Riggins, but Eaton held on to the top rope. It catches him with a clothesline from the left side.
Oh, you can see, you can look at Eaton's face and you can just see him getting madder and madder by the second in there. I really don't think he thought Riggins was going to be this tough.
Straight right hand by Beautiful Bobby. Reno Riggins knocked it to the floor. Beautiful Bobby Eaton moving his way right up the ladder. He's in the top 10 in one-on-one matches. First time in his career in World Championship Wrestling that Beautiful Bobby has been ranked in the top 10 in singles competition because he has developed and cultivated his well-earned reputation in tag team competition.
Well, that's right. Always highly ranked in the tag team wrestling, but now, as you say, the first time in the top 10 individually. Fans, Tuesday night, World Championship Wrestling, 7 o'clock at Center Stage in Atlanta. And then Friday night at 8 o'clock, Meadowlands Arena, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Jim, what a night that's going to be for World Championship Wrestling.
And, Bob, we're going to have a special interview that I had the opportunity to conduct with Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants a little bit later in the broadcast. We'll be talking more about LT's involvement in World Championship Wrestling and what he'll be doing at the Meadowlands a little bit later in the broadcast. Oh, look at the...
Jim, let me ask you, is that necessary?
Absolutely not.
Somebody that has the ability of Eaton, is that necessary for him to do that?
Riggins fights back with a lot of fire. You got to hand it to Reno Riggins. He's rolling the dice here. And he caught him coming in. Handspring right into the Bulldog headlock. And now beautiful Bobby goes to the top. This is for you, Z-Man, says beautiful Bobby Eaton. The leg drop right off the top rope. One of the most dynamic offensive moves in the sport on that collision course at the Clash of Champions. Beautiful Bobby with a big, let's get the official word. Well, Eaton with a victory here. There's that leg right off the top rope. Beautiful Bobby and the Z-Man will wrestle for the television championship of the world on Wednesday night, January the 30th, live here on TBS. But another man that wants a shot at the television championship is standing by with Paul E. Dangerously, Terry Taylor, and Paul E. are at ringside.
As everybody knows by now, the new world television champion is the Z-Man, which from what I understand does not sit all that well with Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, Terry Taylor.
Wait. Now, Z-Man is a great athlete, and I'm sure, as you know, he's going to be a great television champion. But everybody knows I think that should have been my title opportunity. Now, I took Arnderson to the limit 1 week. Nobody liked the ending of that match. I took him to the limit the next week. Nobody liked the ending of that match, especially me. So I got my third chance, and here comes Ric Flair, here comes Doom, and I don't get the opportunity that would have made me the world television champion. Now, that was my opportunity. Now, these people say, well, maybe I'm whining and maybe I'm complaining. I don't feel that way. I feel like I could beat you, Arnderson, and I'm going to show everybody here tonight that I can do that because, yes, Z-Man, you are the champion, and I have to go through people like Arnderson to get to you. Now, the WCW Championship Committee is looking past me a lot, maybe overlooking me. Now, if I got to get like a squeaky wheel and squeak a little bit, squeak, squeak, I'm going to do what I have to get what I think I deserve. Now, I know that people may think it's a little change in me, but I'm tired of being passed over. I'm tired of being a nice guy, and Arnderson's going to find out just how badly I want this match.
So tonight, it's Terry Taylor versus Arnderson. We'll be back in a minute.
Sunday, Norman and the Juicer have the Freebirds in a lather. And All-Pro Lawrence Taylor sizes up Mr. Dangerously.
Paul Lee, I mean, what kind of name is that for a man?
The main event, 6:05 Eastern on TBS.
From the Muscular Reservation, New Mexico, Chris and Mark, the Renegade Warriors. In the ring, their opponents, first from Laramie, Wyoming, at 255 pounds, Ed Brock, and his partner at 240 pounds from Durham, North Carolina, Chuck Coates.
Chuck Coates and Ed Brock to take on the very popular Renegade Warriors. There's Chris Youngblood, the younger of the Youngblood brothers, his other brother, Mark. And Bob, they've got a date with Destiny at the Clash of Champions. Wednesday night, January 30th, live here on TBS.
You're right, Jim. 8:05 that Wednesday night right here on TBS. And you talk about Destiny, and there's going to be two of them across the ring, and they're going to be looking them straight in the eyes. We're talking about the Horsemen, of course, Big Barry Windham and Arnderson.
Great challenge for both those teams on national television. Great chain wrestling move. They're going for the pin early. Chris Youngblood with the wrist lock. Outstanding young team, as you heard, introduced from the Mescalero Indian Reservation in the great state of New Mexico, the land of enchantment. They got the arms hooked there. Side headlock by Chris Youngblood, tagging in his brother. And Mark goes, or excuse me, Mark goes up to the top. Very aggressive. These two Indian brothers certainly are proud of their Native American heritage.
Well, they are that, and from a wrestling family with a good wrestling background too, Jim. And
drop kick, he caught him coming off the ropes. Nice move, Bob. They're more aggressive than we have seen there. They're tagging in and out very quickly.
Well,
Great teamwork thus far.
They feel like they've got a lot to prove, Jim, and they're going to do it just by this style. They say they're going to be more aggressive. They're going to go after it more than they did in 1990.
Chopped there by Chris Youngblood, knocking his opponent out of the ring. And drop kicks him right off the apron. Great move, big high-risk move there by Chris Youngblood and this young Indian team here on World Championship Wrestling to show that they mean business roaring into the Clash of Champions.
Oh, they're ready for it. I tell you, if I were Arnderson, I'd bury Wyndham. I'd be watching these two. I'd have my eyes right on them. I don't think I'd take my eyes off of them, Jim.
Still to come in the first hour, the debut of a very unusual athlete known as Minotaur. We'll see him a little bit later. Double chop by the Youngbloods. They have really controlled it. They've been really offensive in this contest.
Well, they've been on the offense ever since the match started in the opening bell. And as you say, Jim, the way they're tagging and the way they're switching, their timing as a team has just been perfect. They've been working very hard to perfect their tag team wrestling, and I think they've really done it.
Oh! Kick right to the face. Youngbloods are dominant in this contest thus far. Still to come in our first hour, the total package, Lex Luger, Michael Wallstreet. Missy Hyatt will talk to Michael Wallstreet and his administrative assistant, Alexandra York, as well.
Well, there's a guy that's really setting the wrestling world back on its ears, that computer.
Yeah.
Jim, I think the computer age has arrived.
You know, they had a big feature on him in the USA Today several weeks ago on the business
on the
page.
business section, that's right.
On the front page of the business section. He is a man that has certainly opened the eyes of the not only wrestling fans, but people in the business world as well. Single leg pickup by Mark Youngblood, tagging in his brother, Chris Youngblood. Double tomahawk chop by the Youngbloods, and they have become very, very dominant in this very offensive tag team event. There's a scoop slam. And Chris Youngblood up on top. Ooh, right all that weight. Right on the chest. Grapevine the leg, and they're looking forward to their battle with the Horsemen.
Oh, it was a really impressive win for this young tag team, the Youngbloods, Chris and Mark Youngblood, the Renegade Warriors. And I tell you, they're going to be something to behold at the Clash of Champions when they meet Barry Windham and Arnderson right here on TBS on Wednesday, January 30th.
Move.
There was that high-risk move, Jim, from high end of the ring right outside the ring.
Drop kick him right off the apron, and then they took him back in the ring. And here's another dynamic move by Chris Youngblood, the Youngbloods, and the Horsemen. Great tag team encounter. They'll be at the Clash of Champions. And before we see Minotaur, here's more information.
I want you at Wrestle War 91. World Championship Wrestling presents an ironclad event of man versus metal. Wrestle War 91, featuring War Game. We've declared war. Witness a grueling double steel cage confrontation where anything can happen. Don't miss the Duel in the Desert live from Phoenix, Arizona. You can be there front and center only on pay-per-view. Dismissed!
At 290 pounds from parts unknown, Minotaur!
Well, we got to get a look at this guy, 290, and that strange apparition on his right arm. A Minotaur in ancient time was half man, half bull. This man looks to be a very, very bizarre and a very sadistic-looking individual. Let's go back to Tony Gillen for the introduction of his opponent.
And in the ring, his opponent, 310 pounds from the Great Smoky Mountains, Mountain Man Bailey.
Mountain Man Bailey. This Minotaur is strange.
Geez, Jim.
Very methodical, Bob. A little bit eerie.
Look at this, so slow. I mean, just creeping and crawling on all fours into the ring. And I see you've done a little reading up when you say half man, half beast.
Greek mythology.
Yeah, Greek mythology.
I went to class a few times on that. He just, as Greek mythology goes, a Minotaur is a half man and a half bull. This man's strong enough, looking to be strong as a bull, running Mountain Man Bailey into the ring post. Look at those eyes.
Oh, Jim, and wow. Bailey's a big one. He's a tall one, a hefty individual. Minotaur just picked him up, carried him. Again, it's at a methodical pace. He's not quick about it. He's just very plodding and methodical with every move he makes.
Minotaur ramming Bailey's back into the edge of the apron. I don't know if we can get another shot of those eyes. Now, that's a pretty strange-looking guy, Bob.
You know, he may be methodical, Jim, but there's pain at the end of those moves. There he does. I tell you one thing.
He's not going to win the...
I was going to say, he's not going to win the sexiest contest, is he, Jim?
I don't think he's going to be in the running. Fans, we're going to have more information on WCW Sexiest Wrestler Contest. The winner of that will be announced at the Clash of Champions on Wednesday night, January the 30th. We'll have more information.
What the heck did he say?
I think he said some of the power of the Minotaur. He certainly does have that power. Very, almost a tortoise-like pace, but with so much power.
Yep.
He just, no margin for error. I'd like to know more about this strange apparatus on his right arm.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is it for? What's behind it? Haven't seen him use it in any special way.
Well, our Cub reporter, Jimmy Olsen, a.k.a. Paulie Dangerously, might be able to interview this bizarre
That may be
guy.
what it's for. What a powerful clothesline. And that's the quickest move we've seen him use so far.
With that right arm, drops the elbow on Bailey and Minotaur. Now he's biting him. Half man, half bull. According to Greek mythology. But this man perhaps is all animal. As we have seen, I've never seen anybody quite with this exact appearance, Bob.
And fans, you can go back and look at him, and as Jim Ross had mentioned, you get a good look right here. Jim, you see those eyes again, and the weird look and the evil expression in those eyes as he gets high with that elbow and an apparatus around the arm to put Man Mountain Bailey away.
Fans, when we come back, Lex Luger will be here, Michael Wallstreet, and much more right after this timeout.
All over America, fans, World Championship Wrestling is coming to an arena near you. Wednesday, January 23rd, San Francisco Civic Auditorium, 7:30. Doom, the Freebirds, Lex Luger. Tuesday, the 22nd, Los Angeles, the Forum, 7:30. Ric Flair, Sting, and Big Sid Vicious. Sunday, the 20th, Chicago, UIC Pavilion, 7:30. Lex Luger, the Steiners, Michael Wallstreet. Friday, the 18th, Kansas City, Memorial Hall, 8 o'clock. Flying Bryant, Ric Flair, and Sting. Thursday, the 17th, Memorial Coliseum, Jacksonville, 7:30. Barry Windham, Arnderson, Beautiful Body. Wednesday, the 16th, Barton Coliseum, Little Rock, 7:30. The Steiners, the Freebirds, the Southern Boys. On Sunday, the 13th, in Dover, Delaware State College, Memorial Hall, 7:30. Lex Luger, Big Sid Vicious, and Doom. Saturday, the 12th, DC Armory, Washington, 8 o'clock. Ric Flair, Sting, Terry Taylor. And Friday, the 11th, the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, 8 o'clock. Doom, Arnderson, Barry Windham, World Championship Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Chicago, Illinois, at 279 pounds, he is the total package, Luger. And in the ring, his opponent, from Richmond, Kentucky,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be Lex Luger, the Big Cat, this Friday night in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. In that big football match, Luger will have Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants in his corner, and the Big Cat, Luger's opponent, had this to say just before we went on the air.
That's right, Daddy. The Big Cat, Meadowlands, baby. Lex Luger, you want to play some football with the Big Cat? And you're going to call yourself going to get that LT? Well, baby, you guys are in big trouble, because let me tell you, you get in my way, I'm going to run you over.
And, of course, Big Cat will be in full football attire, as will that man, the total package. Paulie Dangerously will be in the corner of Big Cat. Now, what does that mean to you, Bob?
That means with Lawrence Taylor across the ring, Jim, I think that Paulie Dangerously, Big Cat are going to be certainly outnumbered and outweighed when you put Big Lawrence Taylor. Certainly, he's the best defensive man, I think, in all of professional football. And I have never seen a football match, Jim. This is something I'm really looking forward to seeing. As you say, in complete football gear, and they get out and they go at each other.
Well, they get down in a 4-point stance or a 3-point stance as they choose. The object of the game, so to speak, is to knock your opponent out of the ring. Pinfalls will not count in that one. And I know that Lex Luger, who weighed in at 279 here today, he's in magnificent condition, but it's been 6 or 7 years since he had the football pads on.
Yeah.
The Big Cat weighs about 340, and he's going to have a distinct weight advantage in that football match. So it's not going to be wrestling technique, it's going to be football technique. And I know that Lex Luger is looking forward to the coaching of Lawrence Taylor to prepare him for this match in the Meadowlands. And I'll have my conversation with Lawrence Taylor exclusively here on TBS in our second hour. I think you're going to want to stay tuned for that, fans.
Yeah, and I want to hear that also. Jim, but you're talking about Taylor over in the corner going to be giving some advice, I think, to Lex Luger. What's Paulie Dangerously going to be giving to the Big Cat?
Well, he'll be talking a lot. He's probably going to check out a few books at the library, maybe the Newt Rockney story or something. Luger with a clothesline and a big one on Mike Samples. Gets a run and nails him again. What a dynamic athlete is Lex Luger. The football shiver right off the second turnbuckle. Luger dominant. He'll be in the Meadowlands with Lawrence Taylor Friday night.
Hart Luger!
Luger and LT together in the Meadowlands Friday night.
Watch here. You see the tremendous power of the big man, the total package, Lex Luger, on Mike Samples as he puts him down off of the second turnbuckle to cover him for the count of 3.
That football shiver nailed Mike Samples. Luger looking forward to his showdown with football attire in the Meadowlands Friday night. We'll have Michael Wallstreet, but first, let's listen to this.
Introducing the new Wrestling Hotline. Tony Schiavone. Matt Watch with Steve Beverly. Missy Hyatt. Straight Up with Sting. Lex Luger. The Jim Ross Report. Paul E. Dangerously. 1-900-909-9900. The Wrestling Hotline. Your main line to the stars. $2 first minute, 45 cents each additional minute. Kids 18 and under obtain your parents' permission before calling. 1-900-909-9900.
Dial it. From the financial district of Lower Manhattan, weighing in at 249 pounds, he's accompanied to the ring by his administrative assistant, Alexandra York. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Wallstreet.
He has got to be, right now, the hottest man in wrestling because he's being featured on the covers of USA Today. He's been undefeated thus far, and we'll hear more about it. Let's hear now from Tony Gillum.
And in the ring, his opponent from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Greg Sawyer.
Alexander York makes the predictions.
Lower the music, please. Tonight, Greg Sawyer, you will lose to Michael Wallstreet. Per the information on this computer sheet in less than 6 minutes.
Well, less than 6 minutes again, Jim.
She's kind of a brazen young lady, is she not? Very confident, very cold, calculating in respect of her computer. Says that Michael Wallstreet will defeat Greg Sawyer in 6 minutes or less. And thus far, she has been right 100% of the time.
Right on the money. There's no doubt about that. And she's been there each match that we've seen Michael Wallstreet in. You talk about her being brazen. I think she's just got a tremendous amount of confidence in her ability and in what that computer says. You know, she believes it. She believes every bit of it, as does Michael Wallstreet. He's got the confidence in that also, Jim. And how can you argue with success?
Well, you have a point there. I think Alexander York may be WCW's version of Leona Helmsley. All business. Not a lot of personality, but all business.
Better.
Yeah, Leona's kind of been left out in that department.
Yeah.
Michael Wallstreet with a waistlock, taking Sawyer to the ropes. Former Syracuse star with a degree, with honors. We understand now that we have researched it somewhat, from Syracuse University.
You know, the computer, and he relies a lot on that computer, but the computer doesn't get in the ring and wrestle. Michael Wallstreet does that, and it's his ability in the ring, Jim, that makes that computer and makes it right.
He is a legitimate wrestling machine. Has wrestled in the amateurs for the New York Athletic Club.
Look at this.
Look at these elbows. The elbows paying dividends, if you get my drift, on Greg Sawyer there from Wallstreet, front face locking him.
Everything he does, he's looking for dividends.
He says when he beats someone, it's much like a hostile takeover. He's a big fan of Michael Milken, who's going to be spending the next 10 years behind bars from this junk bond deal. I said in the USA Today several weeks ago that Michael Wallstreet was a big proponent of junk bond dealing. We might have the Securities and Exchange Commission to check him out.
Might look into him, that's right.
He may be the first wrestler that the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, suspends. Greg Sawyer, sunset flip, and Wallstreet had to kick out, and now he turns it up a notch.
It was a good move by Sawyer, but he couldn't hold him.
Sawyer tossed outside on the floor by Michael Wallstreet as Alexandria York continues to input data there in her little laptop computer. She made the prediction.
Wow, what a blow.
That Wallstreet would win this in 6 minutes or less. Missy Hyatt's going to be talking to Mr. Wallstreet and Ms. York in a few moments. And right here, stock market crash, and indeed the computer is right again. We'll take another look at this situation before we go to Missy Hyatt's interview.
Well, the man that is just wrestling with a tremendous amount of confidence now is Michael Wallstreet, and it's showing in every one of his matches. As he had Sawyer to the mat. Look at this. Look at that. Just brushes back the hair there. Said, hey, don't mess up my hair. And then the stock market crash. There's your winner.
Let's go down to Missy Hyatt with Michael Wallstreet and Ms. Alexandra York.
I'm Missy Hyatt here with Michael Wallstreet and Alexandra York. And you know, Mr. Wallstreet, you are undefeated, but most important, you have brought the computer age to professional wrestling.
It's no doubt by now to anyone out there that Michael Wallstreet Incorporated is a huge success. I have people calling me from Wall Street wanting me to speak and get Wall Street out of trouble. But I've got news for all you idiots out there. Michael Wallstreet's business is his own. I told everybody around here that Michael Wallstreet had the ability, and with the computer technology of Ms. York, we were unstoppable. USA Today knows a winner when they see one. They printed a story in the financial section of the USA Today newspaper. They know a winner, and I am a winner.
What?
What are you doing?
I'm doing my job.
I'm the only one that's supposed to be doing interviews on World Championship Wrestling. What are you doing, I said?
Hey, your problem is you're jealous because a woman can do the same job you can and make more money.
Pauline, are you a true chauvinist? Are you a true chauvinist? Or do you just hate women? Or is this a personal thing between you and Missy?
Hey, Mike. How are you? I obviously came at a bad time. I'll see you a lot sooner than later.
Well, I'm sorry about this, but we're out of time because of Paulie. And we'll be back with more World Championship Wrestling on TBS right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall, a 20-minute time limit. It is for the World Television title. Introducing first the champion from Minneapolis, Minnesota, at 241 pounds, the Seaman.
The very popular television champion just last week on this very broadcast defeated Arnderson for the television championship of the world. He said he was going to be a fighting champion. That indeed he is.
At 309 pounds, from parts unknown, his opponent is the mysterious Dr. X.
Bob, before we went to our last commercial break, it sounded to me like Paulie's a little jealous of Missy getting some airtime.
Yeah, he certainly did seem that way, and I think he is talking about him being a male chauvinist. You know, they're going to be meeting at the Clash of Champions, Jim, in a most unusual thing. Can you believe that Paulie Dangerously is actually going to get out there on television in front of millions of people right here on TBS? He's going to arm wrestle Missy Hyatt. Can you believe that?
That match has been signed, if you can call it a match. Missy Hyatt and Paulie Dangerously.
She'll put him down.
We'll have an arm wrestling contest at the Clash of Champions live here on TBS Wednesday night, January 30th. We'll have more on that in the hour.
I'm going to bet on Missy.
And there's Terry Taylor.
Terry Taylor. Of course, Taylor's the man that feels like that he should have been the one that really got the shot at the championship ahead of Z-Man. Jim, he says that 3 times that he carried Arn Anderson right to the limit. 3 times he did it. 3 times Arn was unable to defeat him, that he should have been the one that had that legitimate shot.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think Taylor, first of all, has a legitimate gripe, if you want to call it that, or a grievance. He should be noticed, I think, by the WCW Championship Committee. And I also think that that the Z-Man is more than willing to give Terry Taylor or anyone else the opportunity. Now, Terry Taylor's going to be joining us here at ringside. I want to notify our truck of that situation, that we had an extra headset here. We'll get Terry Taylor over here. And Terry, we heard your comments a little bit earlier with Paulie Dangerously. You're going to be wrestling Arn Anderson here in our second hour. I made the comment to Bob, I think you have a legitimate grievance as far as getting the opportunity to wrestle for the television championship. I also feel that Z-Man will be more than willing to give you your opportunity once that the championship committee sanctions the match.
Yeah, I know he's the kind of guy that wouldn't back down from somebody, but you have to understand, I'm not happy with the way this whole thing has come out. I mean, I was the one who wore Arn Anderson down. I'm the guy that wrestled him 3 weeks in a row, that took him to the limit, and then here comes Z-Man on the day that I'm not at television and sneaks into my spot. Now, I'm not resentful of him because, I mean, on any given night, Z-Man can beat anybody. And I'm out here just scouting. I'm not trying to get on anybody's nerves or anything, but scouting and being prepared is a big part of this.
Well, Z-Man on top there for that lateral press. Dr. X, a 300-pounder at least, powers out of it with a side headlock now. Z-Man, but the Masked Man has a handful of tights there. I think you've got a very valid case if it was in a court of law. Unfortunately, the way things are settled in WCW is inside the squared circle.
And that's the way
you'll
I
have
like
that.
it,
Yeah, I know that. That's your style. And you'll have that opportunity to move up the ladder and assert yourself in your match with Arn Anderson later here tonight.
I was going to say, Jim, Z-Man has already got other matches signed. Is that not correct?
Well, he's got beautiful Bobby Eaton at the Clash.
At the Clash. He's got Bobby Eaton there again ahead of you, Terry.
I don't know
at
how
the
I
Clash
feel
of
about that
Champions.
either, though. I mean, why Bobby Eaton and not me? I'm the guy that wrestled Arn. I should be like the top contender, don't you think? I mean, I'm the guy that wrestled him. I should have had the rematch. Z-Man wins. I think I should automatically be in the running.
Well,
now, I'm not going to complain about it because I am going to beat Arn Anderson later on, and the people cannot, in the World Championship Committee, turn their back on that or ignore it. When I do it in the ring, then they're going to say, yes, we have to get him his opportunity.
I think that was well spoken. I know you've got to get ready for your match with Arn Anderson. It's coming up a little bit later in the broadcast. We wish you the very best of luck in that, and hopefully that I think your case will not fall, hopefully, on deaf ears from the championship committee.
All I'm asking for is a chance.
All right. Well, I think he deserves that, Bob.
Yes, sir, fans. You heard it right there from the mouth of Terry Taylor himself. And Jim, he really, it sounds to me like he doesn't have a lot of sour grapes about it. He just legitimately feels like that he was sidestepped and it should have been his opportunity. And when you listen to Terry Taylor, I don't really know that I could argue a whole lot with the way he feels about it.
The Z-Man now taking over on Dr. X, sends him for the ride. The Z-Man with a great drop kick. The new television champion controlling the action here. He says he's a fighting champion, and indeed he is here in his first appearance since winning the championship, putting the title on the line. There's a drop kick off the top rope. That brought him the championship, and it's brought him another victory here on World Championship Wrestling.
The World Television Champion, the Z-Man.
More information on WCW's Sexiest Wrestler Contest. The television champion's got to be one of the leading contenders for that.
And high over the ropes with that drop kick again, right on the button of Dr. X. Down he goes, and as you say, it brought Z-Man the championship, and it brings him another win over Dr. X.
And here's more how you can enter and participate in the WCW Sexy Wrestler Contest. Attention wrestling fans, here's your opportunity to participate in selecting WCW's Sexiest Wrestler. on a postcard only. Clearly print the name of your choice and mail it today to Post Office Box 105-366, Atlanta, Georgia, 30348-5366. The winner of WCW Sexiest Wrestler Contest will be announced on TBS Wednesday night, January the 30th, during the upcoming Clash of Champions broadcast.
All over America, fans, World Championship Wrestling, the best, is coming to an arena near you. Wednesday, January 23rd, Civic Auditorium, San Francisco, 7:30. Ric Flair, Sting, and Sid Vicious. Tuesday the 22nd, the Forum in Los Angeles, 7:30. The Steiners, Michael Wallstreet, Lex Luger. Sunday the 20th, UIC Pavilion, Chicago, 7:30. Doom, Barry Windham and Arnderson. Friday the 18th, Kansas City, Memorial Hall at 8. The Freebirds, the Steiners, and Big Cat. Thursday the 17th, Memorial Coliseum, Jacksonville, 7:30, Doom, Ric Flair and Z-Man. Wednesday the 16th, Little Rock, Barton Coliseum, 7:30, Lex Luger, the Junkyard Dog, and Ricky Morton. Sunday the 13th, Charleston, Civic Center Coliseum, 3 o'clock, Sting, Ric Flair, and Michael Wallstreet. On Saturday the 12th, Washington, D.C. Armory, 8 o'clock. It'll be the Steiners, Doom, and Big Cat. And on Friday the 11th, at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, 8 o'clock, Sting, Ric Flair, Lex Luger, all over America, World Championship Wrestling.
See the fabulous Freebirds in tag team competition in just a few moments. But Bob, on December the 22nd, right here on World Championship Wrestling, they made Rick Steiner a deal that the Dogface couldn't refuse.
Well, and I think they took advantage of his holiday spirit also, Jim. The Birds did that. We want to show the fans what happened there and then the outcome of that match.
Michael Hayes made a proposition to Rick Steiner. You're going to see that situation as they were interviewed by Paul E. Dangerously.
If I win or you lose, we get a shot at the belts. What do I get? Thought you would ask that. Tell you what.
What?
If you win, you will never, ever have to worry, listen, or see the Freebirds again.
Do it! Do it!
Hey, let's just do it right here! Let's just do it right here! Come on! No! You can be the referee! No, I can't be it! I gotta call you just wrestled.
You just wrestled.
We wouldn't want to take it. Let's take a little time. It's early. It's only a little bit after 6. I'll go get my gear on, you rest up, cool down, and we'll come back in a little while. What do you say?
Say yes!
Put it there. All right. Very.
Rick Steiner now becoming very dominant in this contest. He's setting Hayes up for the coup de grace.
He's got the referee in.
Jimmy Garvin just tossed. He just tossed a board, a 2x4, to Rick Steiner. Hayes.
Oh, wait a minute.
The referee
Oh, my God, he's going to get an Academy Award for this.
The referee is going to disqualify Rick Steiner for the use of that board. He didn't even Garvin through the board.
How's your eye? How's your eye?
Wow, after being hit by a board.
He hit you right in the eye with that board. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Boy, that Steiner, he's stupid, ain't he? He's so stupid. Well, I'm going to tell you something, stupid Steiner. You done boxed yourself into a corner now, Pally, because you're going to have to get in the ring with the greatest tag team in the world today, not to mention the greatest rock and roll band that ever walked the face of the earth. And we're going to take the U.S. tag titles from you.
You know, Jimmy Jeff, it's not really that humiliating for Rick Steiner to be embarrassed in front of millions of people on TBS.
They know he's stupid already.
And because he embarrasses himself every moment of every day. But Scotty Steiner, we got one on you, Jack. And you better believe this, Mr. College Degree. We finally got our title shot. Don't think we're going to screw it up. Stupid!
At a combined weight of 499 pounds from Wallstreet, USA, the greatest rock and roll man of all time, Michael P.S.A. Jimmy Jam Garvin, the fabulous Freebirds. And in the ring, our opponents, first from Iowa City, Iowa, at 220 pounds, Jamie McKinnon. And his partner from Sevierville, Tennessee, at 209 pounds, Hart.
Well, the Freebirds very, very happy, as you could tell by their duping of naive Rick Steiner into that situation where the Freebirds have earned the U.S. title matchup. The Freebirds and the Steiners for the United States Tag Team Championship. The contracts have been signed for that one. Also in this segment, fans, we're going to get an update from Norman, who we saw injured at the hands of Sid Vicious just the Saturday before Christmas, rather. Oh, that was on December the 22nd.
That's right.
We're going to get a little update from good old Norm a little bit later in this segment.
Jim, he was just minding his own business, out playing Santa Claus, just throwing candy and presents out to the kids when Vicious attacked him.
And next week it'll be Sid Vicious and Norman one-on-one. I hope Norman is not coming back too quick.
Jim, he's been having some problems. You know, he had that head rammed into the post a couple of times. I think he still had a ringing in his ears. I'm not so sure that the doctor says that he's ready to wrestle.
Michael Hayes with a big chop there on Keith Hart. Hayes and Garvin, former World Tag Team Champions. They lost those titles right here, wow, at center stage at the hands of the Steiners. So this is a very personal issue with the Freebirds and the Steiners for the U.S. title. Hayes with that left hand.
Always planning and always plotting are they, and they did that to Rick Steiner. Oh,
good grief! He elevated him right up in the air, and Keith Hart bounced like a rubber ball right off the concrete floor.
How high he went into the air and how hard he hit that floor. And as you said, he bounced 3 or 4 times right across it. But, Jim, when they pulled that over on Rick Steiner, they did it when his brother Scott was not here. And that's the way that the Freebirds operate. They plot and they plan and they look for their moment and then they move right in.
Jimmy Jam scooping up Keith Hart, trying to drive him through the canvas. Fans here not very sympathetic of the Freebirds' efforts. Oh, what a succession of slams by Jimmy Jam Garvin on Keith Hart.
Fans, let me tell you about some great World Championship Wrestling nights coming up next weekend. Next Saturday, the 12th, Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Armory. We'll be right there. And then on Sunday the 13th at 3 p.m. in Charleston, West Virginia at the Civic Center. Then that night at 7:30, that's on the 13th in Dover, Delaware at the Delaware State College Memorial Hall. All of that coming up next weekend.
Jamie McKinnon met very viciously by Jimmy Jam Garvin as he came into the ring. The Freebirds have really ascended up the rankings in tag team wrestling, in World Championship Wrestling. Hey, they've got great credentials. They're great athletes. They've been the world champions before. But the way that they earned their U.S. title match, in my opinion, leaves a lot to be desired. There may be some used car dealers of some dubious distinction out there that think it's kind of funny, but the fans don't think it's funny at all.
And that's the way the Freebirds operate.
Jamie McKinnon being side slammed by Michael Hayes. Very arrogant, a conceited individual. The inspirational leader and has been since the inception of the Freebirds.
You know, the Freebirds, Jim, we talk about them sort of in a derogatory manner. They're certainly not 2 of our favorites, certainly not mine, but you got to give the devil his due. They're great athletes and outstanding competitors. Look at them.
Double DDTs by the Freebirds. The DDT, a devastating move. But will it be enough to put the Steiners down?
Well, the Freebirds, and with a double pin on Jamie McKinnon and Keith Hart as they got them both in the double DDT. But first, watch outside of the ring. This is that tremendous high-impact move. Look how high into the air he goes.
He bounces like a rubber ball there, right off the floor.
And insult to injury right here now from Jimmy Garvin as he just steps on him and walks right across him. The double DDT, and they're both down for the count.
It'll be the DDT versus the Frankensteiner for the United States Tag Team Championship. And now let's hear these comments from good old Norman.
Sid Vicious, let me tell you something. You may be a huge man, but you're a little bitty human being. Coming out on TV and jumping me and running my head into a post, a steel post, when I'm handing kids stuff out for Christmas. Let me tell you something, Sid Vicious. If it's one thing I do on this earth, I will get you. I'm not supposed to wrestle you. I don't feel 100%, but next week I will get you and get my revenge for all those little kids that I love more than anything in this world.
Welcome to WCW Classics, and today, of course, we're going to travel back in time to Greensboro, North Carolina, when Clash 1 took place. And it was the opportunity for young Sting to acquire the World Heavyweight Championship away from Ric Flair. Well, it didn't turn out that way for Sting on their first meeting. But Sting was a very excited young man, a very capable young man, and certainly gave it his very best. In fact, take a look at this and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Outside here, they've broken the table. The judges have scattered, and Flair's brains are scattered on that steel post all the way out into the crowd.
Sting grabbing Flair by the hair. Outside, the battle rages on. The World Heavyweight title.
Flair.
40 minutes has left. 5 minutes remain. 5 minutes.
We are at the last 5 minutes of the match. Flair trying the sunset flip. Sting, yes! Boom! Another win! Possibly 4th, 5th win of the match. The #1 contender for the heavyweight championship is taking it to the champion. The world's title is definitely hanging in the balance as Flair's head is raked along the top cable and the Stinger is on fire with less than 5 minutes to go. He needs to kick it in gear right here. Now's his time. Nationwide audience. Superstation TBS. Live. Greensboro, the Clash of the Champions. Sting can be the heavyweight champion of the world, but it's got to happen now. Stinger up on that second rope. He's got to put a flurry together and lock on that scorpion in the middle of the ring.
4 minutes remain.
You heard John Miller, 4 minutes. No effect that time. Rolled him. He may have it right here. The foot on the rope. A near fall. And if Flair was 6 more inches out in the middle of the ring, he would not have been able to get out of that one. Fans at ringside, and I know across the country, out of breath with that one. Here he comes. Nobody home. Oh, Lord, all the way over the top. He went for the pre-scorpion deathlock splash in the corner. And the champion moved out of the way, and that kid hit his head. The back of his head went all the way over and down to the concrete. James J. Owen. He's probably dreamed as well as everybody else, and as well as we are right here. As well as that man is.
3 minutes remain.
3-minute mark. Sting, if he wants to be world champion, has to go for it now. But Flair reaches down to get it. What a title event. What a battle, what physical confrontation. Two of the most superb athletes in the history of professional wrestling have got it all right here. And both of them, what a collision. Sleeper hold for the champion. You don't see that much. Sting going forward. Both men down now. Flair went face first into the top turnbuckle. Time is rapidly running out in this battle for the heavyweight championship of the world. Out goes Sting onto the floor. Quickly, he tries to come back. Oh, shoulder block to the midsection. Over the top. Sting trying to get him over.
2 minutes. 2 minutes remain.
The 2-minute mark. Flair got the ropes. He got the ropes. And Tommy Young saw it. Once again, the world champion escapes. We have had 2 tremendous near falls in the last few moments. What a battle that we had for the championship of the world, Tony.
personally feel that that particular match was the molding of a man. It made the superstar that Sting has become, and indeed, the World Championship Heavyweight Champion. Well, Sting and Flair still have some comments.
Life goes on in professional wrestling for me. I'm still the world champion. I wish I could feel good about it, Flair. The only time I'm gonna feel good, though, is when I get back in the ring with you. I don't care where it is, Rick. You stepped over the line one time too many. One time you tried to put me out, a second time you tried to put me out. Never by yourself. You better make sure that you get the job done next time you get in the ring with me, pal.
Sting, how do you like it, knowing that you thought Ric Flair was so far out of the picture you'd never have to deal with him again? And all this while, it's been me driving you crazy. How do you like it, knowing that 3 years ago, you wrestled your greatest match, but it's in the past? Ric Flair, ask around. Haircut, a new look. It's the 90s, baby, and they need a man at the helm of this ship. So, pal, whether Turner or Hart or anybody else likes it, Ric Flair is back and ready to be the world heavyweight champion for the 7th time. Sting! Think about it. Woo!
Introducing the new Wrestling Hotline. Tony Schiavone. Matt Watts with Steve Beverly. Missy Hyatt. Straight Up with Sting. Lex Luger. The Jim Ross Report. Paul E. Dangerously. 1-900-909-9900. The Wrestling Hotline. Your main line to the stars. $2 first minute, 45 cents each additional minute. Kids 18 and under obtain your parents' permission before calling. 1-900-909-9900. Dial it.
Welcome back to TBS, everyone, and World Championship Wrestling. In just a matter of moments, it's going to be Arn Anderson and Terry Taylor one-on-one. This is a very important matchup for Terry Taylor. I don't think Arn Anderson cares about being the television champion right now.
No, I think you're right, but as you say, it is Terry Taylor. He wants to be the new champion. He wants a shot at that championship, but also Arn Anderson in 3 matches that were inconclusive right here on the main event. He wants to prove that he's better than Terry Taylor.
Fans, let's hear these comments from the enforcer of the Horsemen, Arn Anderson.
Terry Taylor, I wrestled you 3 times for the world television title. No decision. Now I don't care about the world television title anymore, but I do care about a clear, distinct winner. On TBS, you're going to find out what all the people that have been fighting Mike Tyson on the way back to his comeback have felt. Sure, certain death. Now it's man against man. No titles. We find out who the better man is. Me, a horseman.
And ladies and gentlemen, the following is a special challenge match. First from Vero Beach, Florida, at 240 pounds, Terry Taylor.
Terry Taylor, has made his case perfectly clear. I think if it was in a court of law, he'd have an innocent verdict.
Yes, sir.
And coming to the ring, his opponent from Minneapolis, Minnesota, a member of the Four Horsemen, AA, Arn Anderson.
Well, as we heard those comments from Arn Anderson just moments ago, he really doesn't give a heck of a lot about the TV title right now. He does want to prove to Terry Taylor that AA is the better man. This match, I think, as far as the rankings are concerned, is more of a must-win situation for Terry Taylor than it is for Arn Anderson.
That's right. I think if he can continue to say that he's the legitimate #1 that should get a shot at the world title, then he has to do that, Jim. One thing I think you got to be impressed with Terry Taylor about, they go right at each other. He didn't come out ranting and raving. He was very quiet about the whole thing.
And they're starting off very quickly here. Arn Anderson showing that power from the left side. Kicking Taylor right under the heart, follows up with a left cross. Anderson hammers away at Terry Taylor.
Here's a veteran. If he gets you hurt, he knows what to do with it, and Taylor's got to be very cautious here.
Taylor up and over. Terry Taylor going for the pin, and a knee near fall. He got 2 out of it. And Anderson catches him coming up with that left hand, and it found its mark on the handsome features of Terry Taylor. We've talked about the WCW Sexy Wrestler Contest. The fans can vote on their selection for that distinction, and I think Terry Taylor had to be considered one of the front runners, Bob, as would Z-Man and Flying Brian and probably many others.
Well, even Arnderson's probably going to get some votes in there, too. There's going to be a number of them. Lex Luger, it could go, the list could go on and on. Only thing about it, Jim, you and I aren't going to be on that list.
Indeed, we're not, and Terry Taylor working on the arm of Arn Anderson.
You know, we talk about how important this match is to Terry Taylor. I think it's also important from a pride standpoint to Arn Anderson. If nothing else, it's his pride.
The Horsemen have that deep-seated pride, the most dominant unit in the sport today. There's a backbreaker by Terry Taylor. He's got him 1, 2, and boy, that was a close one again.
At him for the count of 2. That's twice now that he's had Arn Anderson down for the count of 2. 3 times the match between these two has gone the limit. Taylor's determined that it's not going to happen for the 4th time.
Taylor has signed to appear on the Clash of Champions live on TBS Wednesday night, January the 30th. Anderson, of course, will be there, as we documented earlier, as he and Barry Windham will take on the Renegade Warriors. Taylor on top of the lateral press, and this match has been all Terry Taylor. He seemed to be very, very aggressive in his statements as far as his mindset is concerned. I think he wants to send a message loud and clear to the WCW Championship Committee that, hey, guys, I deserve a championship match.
He's got that one purpose and that one goal in mind, and that's what he's aimed at right now. And he's got his mind set right on that, Jim, and that's the way he's moving in the ring.
4 horsemen, 4 Francis the Talking Mules there.
Fans, great action tonight. World Championship Wrestling, Augusta, Georgia, at the Civic Center tonight, and tomorrow night at 7:30, Greenville, South Carolina, Memorial Auditorium. And then don't forget, Monday night at 7 o'clock, our first World Championship Wrestling event ever in Perry, Georgia, at Henry L. Reeves Arena.
You get those glasses fixed there, Bob. You're holding that paper farther and
I got to
farther.
get closer and closer to it or something here.
Anderson said Taylor for the ride. This match has been all Terry Taylor. But Anderson caught him. Anderson waist-locked him and spine buster. Caught Terry Taylor coming off the ropes. Anderson in a very bad way, unable to physically cover Taylor to follow up on that spine buster.
They're both hurt. It's just a matter of who's going to recover first from this.
Still to come, our interview with Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants. We'll have that exclusive feature.
I don't care what kind of a fight I was in, Jim. I would love to have Lawrence Taylor in my corner regardless of what it was.
Anderson with that kick right to the face, viciously on the features of Terry Taylor. And now it's Arn Anderson with the advantage in this contest, draping Taylor over the middle rope, trying to rob him of the oxygen, slow him down, because in the early part of this match, it was all Terry Taylor.
Well, and Arn Anderson may be trying to change his features right now. He may be trying to take him out of that contest.
Taylor, the big roundhouse that missed. Anderson fires back up. Fans want to invite you to call the Ross Report tonight on the Wrestling Hotline. Taylor going for the pin there. We've got some inside stuff on this Lawrence Taylor situation that we'll bring you fans tonight. I've got the behind-the-scenes, the off-the-record stuff that LT told me about Paul Lee tonight on the hotline. Anderson with a pin, and it got about 6 inches away from holding Taylor down.
Oh, and again, he almost had it, Jim, down to about 6. When you talk about the hotline, fans, quickly, let me give you that number. 1-900-909-9900, and you can call tonight and get that information from Jim.
Well, LT had some very pointed remarks that could not make television, so we'll put him on the hotline. We'll tell you about LT's thoughts about his football matchup. He's a celebrity coach in the Meadowlands this coming Friday night in the corner of Lex Luger. Taylor, good counter move there by Terry Taylor, going into the belly-to-back suplex and planting double-A Arn Anderson.
And Anderson hit right on the base of his neck and right into his head with that suplex, but he just got out from under that elbow in the nick of time.
Very competitive situation here on TBS. We got another great program tomorrow night on the main event at 6:05. Anderson came off the second turnbuckle, and Taylor met him with both knees to the gut.
Boy, Terry Taylor's wrestling a very smart match, Jim, and that's what you got to do when you're in against any of the horsemen, and especially in against Arnderson. You got to wrestle mentally as well as physically against Arn.
Taylor ran right into that knee of AA Arnderson. And now Anderson climbing to the top. And Taylor meets him with a left hand. He's going to try to slam him off the top, and he's successful. Taylor now has the advantage. He's not going for the pin. That may be an error. Going fist and fire here with Arnderson.
He probably should have gone for the pin, but Anderson was completely defenseless when he was on top of that turnbuckle.
Taylor sending Anderson. No, Anderson reverses. Send Taylor in. Misses with that left. Taylor high cross body. Anderson rolls over. Anderson's feet are on the ropes.
Did he pin him?
He pinned him.
My heavens.
For the four horsemen, Arnderson.
Well, it's going to go in the book as a victory for the horsemen and Arnderson, much to the chagrin of Terry Taylor, visibly upset.
Taylor really has every reason to be. What a way for the match to end. Here was a switch by Arnderson. Watch now as Taylor's going to come off of the rope. He ducks under that left hand. That would have taken his head right off. Cross body. But watch, Arnderson rolls right on through it. Then here's where he gets the rope for the leverage for the count of three. Taylor certainly has a legitimate argument.
Fans, when we come back, I'll have a conversation with the most dominant defensive player in the National Football League, Lawrence Taylor. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. Jim Ross and Bob Cottle back here on World Championship Wrestling. We're going back to the ring in just a few moments, but right now, as we promised, we want to show the interview that I had the privilege of having with Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants.
Jim, I'm anxious to see this. You know, Lawrence Taylor, one of the greats in professional football, the former great from the University of North Carolina, by the way. He's going to be in the corner of Lex Luger. I've got some good advice for Paulie Dangerously. Stay away from Lawrence Taylor.
And now here's that interview with Lawrence Taylor. Hello again, everybody. Jim Ross with LT, Lawrence Taylor. We're in LT's restaurant and sports bar just a couple of minutes from the Meadowlands. And on Friday night, January the 11th, LT will be in Lex Luger's corner in a football match against the Big Cat. And the self-proclaimed psycho yuppie from Scarsdale, Paul E. Dangerously, will be in the Big Cat's corner. Now, LT, everybody knows you're the most dominant football player in the National Football League. Paul E. may have the most dominant mouth in all of wrestling. I don't think he knows anything about football. Do you think you can make a difference in the outcome of this situation?
Oh, I'm quite sure I should be able to. Paul Lee, I mean, what kind of name is that for a man? You know, it sounds like a girl's name. Paul Lee. Paul Lee, I ain't worried about him. I don't think he knows nothing about football. I'm the man in the ring. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to coach my guy Lex to a victory, and we're going to knock the Big Cat right on his butt.
Right out of the ring is the object of the match. No pinfalls in this situation. The winner is the guy that can knock his opponent out of the ring, and Luger will be in full football pads, as will the Big Cat. We expect to see a lot of the great Giants fans in the Meadowlands on the 11th.
Yeah, I think we should be able to see a lot of Giant fans. Everybody likes a good fight, and I think even though we will have a couple of pansies we're going against for Big Cat and Paul Lee, you know, so I think they should come out and see it anyway. A couple of pansies, but we're going to knock their butts off.
Should be an outstanding night of competition, ladies and gentlemen. Friday night, January the 11th, LT's first venture into the professional wrestling game, and I'm sure it's going to be a night that Paul E. Dangerously will never forget. And, you know, he gets a little froggy sometimes. He likes to jump in the middle of situations. And we were talking, he needs to stay on his side of the ring. He doesn't need to get around an athlete, because he certainly isn't an athlete. He doesn't need to get near you on the 11th.
I don't think so. I think he's used to playing polo and ping pong and pool and stuff. I don't think he knows anything about real sports. I think if he wants to jump into the ring and help his man, I want to jump in there after him. And I'm one fight he don't want to tangle with.
Exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all going to happen on Friday night, January 11th. We hope that you'll be with LT in the Meadowlands on the football match. We'll talk more about it in the program.
I want you at Wrestle War 91.
World Championship Wrestling presents an ironclad event of man versus metal. Wrestle War 91, featuring War Games.
We've declared war
Witness a grueling double steel cage confrontation where anything can happen. Don't miss the Duel in the Desert live from Phoenix, Arizona. You can be there front and center only on pay-per-view. Dismissed!
Ladies and gentlemen, from Morristown, Tennessee, at 233 pounds, White Lightning, Tim Horner. In the ring, his opponent from hometown, South Carolina, at 229 pounds, George South.
I'll tell you, Bob, it was great being in LT's restaurant and sports bar. I want to tell the fans that it's just a couple of minutes from the Meadowlands. We're going to be there after the big Meadowlands event Friday night. We're going to go over there, and many of the wrestlers are going to be there. Many of the New York Giants are going to be there. Great food, great hospitality, just a very class operation. But LT really follows our sport. His young son, a 9-year-old, is a big fan of World Championship Wrestling, especially of Lex Luger. And LT made it quite clear that if Paul Lee gets in the way, then he's going to have to answer to number 56. But I've got more on the hotline, what LT said off the record. We'll have that tonight on the Wrestling Hotline.
Yeah, and Jim, I'm going to call you up, and fans, you ought to do the same thing. 1-900-909-9900. Find out more of what Lawrence Taylor had to say about that. Jim, I know you found out he's just a heck of an individual also.
Oh, he's a great guy. It's a class act. I'll tell you that all the way. White Lightning Tim Horner, very quick. I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers in the sport today. Great drop kick there on George South, who's no slouch himself. Arm drag takeover. This one has a lightning pace for White Lightning Tim Horner and George South.
They're both very quick in that ring. They both got a lot of agility in that ring, but Horner is so fast. As you said, White Lightning in there, Jim, but he's got a lot of athletic moves he can put on you also.
Fans, don't forget, next Saturday night, it'll be Norman and Sid Vicious in a grudge match. If possible, we're going to try to have a report from the Meadowlands on that big football matchup with Lawrence Taylor in Lex Luger's corner next Saturday night. And also, one of the great stars from south of the border, from Mexico City, Conan, will be here next Saturday night. Big program next Saturday night. We'll tell you more about it if you're with us tomorrow night for the main event with Missy Hyatt and yours truly. Paul Lee will have his danger zone. As a matter of fact, if we have any time left in the broadcast, I'm going to try to get Paul Lee and Missy together and get this childish banter cleared up and settled.
Yeah, Jim, but again, and I got to find out more about this arm wrestling contest. As you say, that is signed. That's going to be at the Clash of Champions, Paul Lee and Missy.
George South now showing the offense on Tim Horner, who reverses, takes him for the Irish whip to the ropes. Nice leapfrog there by Timmy. Outstanding contest here. Back to the wrist lock. Tim Horner, not only one of the quickest wrestlers in our sport, but pound for pound, one of the strongest as well.
Well, and he's got such a tremendous knowledge of the sport. He knows how to put the moves on you. He knows all of the counters for them. And when you take all of that with his ability and his quickness in there, he's a tough, tough competitor.
It's great to see Stan Caston here tonight, president of the Hawks and the Atlanta Braves. Big fan of World Championship Wrestling. Nice roll up there by Tim Horner. With a bridge back, and he's going to win it here.
Here is your winner, White Lightning, Tim Horner.
Well, it was just a good, quick move on the part of Tim Horner, and he caught George South looking. And fans, we can go back and look at this as he goes right behind South. Into the ropes goes Horner and South, and when they come off, Horner's going to roll him up. Not only does he roll him up, he comes with a bridge to get the extra leverage on it for the count of 1, 2, 3. And there you have Tim Horner with a good win over George South. Now let's go to Jim Ross.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned during the broadcast at the Clash of Champions live here on TBS on Wednesday night, January the 30th, my two infantile colleagues will settle their situation in an arm wrestling match. Missy Hyatt and Paul E. Dangerously in an arm wrestling contest. And I want you two to be civil. No more of this walking in and out.
Listen, he started it. He's jealous. He's a big baby. He lives at home with his mommy and daddy, and I'm tired of it.
First of all, maybe you should live at home with your mommy and daddy, buy yourself some real clothes, but just promise me one thing. When you come to the Clash of the Champions, when you come for the arm wrestling contest, I want you to dress like a lady and not dress like what we all know you really are.
Woo, wait.
Why don't you wear that?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Lee, for once, is speechless. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 6:05
in. So long, everybody.